All right. Well, I think it's recording. Here goes nothing. Okay, yep. So we're doing this for Fitness Realty owners. Obviously, it's the holidays, so I didn't anticipate everyone to be here. But I wanted to welcome you guys out, and I'm stoked that you guys are here. And we can do a quick introduction. I know we've introduced ourselves before, but I added a goal in there, so I'm going to put people on the spot. I'll go first. Obviously, you guys know me. I'm TJ, and I am just super excited about Fitness Realty as a whole and where we're headed. And yo, what's up, Zach?
I thought you were allergic to manual.
So I'm just excited to see where we go and what we produce
You
for
what?
2022 and what we're going to be up to. And one of my goals, I have 4 pages of goals. Last year I hit almost all, like 47 something of my goals. Maybe not that many, maybe 28. And so this year, one of my goals is to get my black belt in karate. So that's gonna be fun. All right, let's go to my mom now.
Oh, hey. Oh, one of my goals for this year is to get to the beach a little more often. No, just kidding. I mean, that is one thing, but I didn't tell TJ this, but I was looking to getting more education. Like we do continuing education, but I may look into some brokers classes. So that's kind of on my goal sheet.
Nice. All right, let's go to Brandon.
Evening. So I'm pretty sure, like, I know I've met Ben and Zach before, which is a recap. Brandon Feldman, active Air Force, was in Utah and hanging out with TJ almost, gosh, it's almost been 2 years now, actually.
Yep.
Um, and we got hooked up through the active duty passive income community, which was really cool. Started working with that, then had a great sale of my house in Utah. So again, thank you, TJ.
You're
So
welcome.
I'm over in Virginia now, currently working with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, which so far has been pretty excellent. So what got me excited about this meeting tonight specifically was hearing about the strides we're making toward actually acquiring assets, passive income producing assets for the company, which is fantastic. One goal for me, I don't have as many as TJ, not 4 pages worth, but I have at least, I'd say half a page or so. But one of the primary ones is to add to my portfolio with at least one more turnkey property this year,
Nice.
along with some other just personal health and physical fitness goals as well. So that's where I'm
Nice.
at.
Solid. All right, let's do Ben if you can chat real quick before dinner.
Yeah, it's okay. We're still getting ready. So my name's Ben Cook. I've been with Fitness Realty for almost a year now. I got my license in January of 2021, and I've been involved in Utah real estate since I was 22 when I bought my first house. The military took me away from Utah quite a bit, so I've been able to accumulate properties through VA loans and conventional loans. And so I've gotten into the kind of the long term rental property kind of business. And I figured, the next step would probably be it'd be a good idea to get my license. And I was out in DC learning Russian with Jimmy Wynn, and he introduced me to TJ and Fitness Realty. And, you guys have seemed like the very best fit. I think it's TJ's Air Force background, accompanied with how they do training and just kind of how light, we keep everything while still having, serious real estate portfolio building goals. So that's kind of what led me to Fitness Realty. And as far as goals this year, so I have I guess they say 5 doors. I have 5 doors. I'd like to eventually double that, have 10 of my own before I, decide whether it's a good idea to keep growing that. But yeah, for me, it's just to continue to grow my real estate portfolio, and at the same time help those that I come in contact with who are interested as well in investing, whether that be, short term Airbnb type rentals, longer term, rentals, or just doing like flips, or even just buying and investing in real estate for themselves. So, yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Thanks,
Nice.
guys.
I like that you have 5 doors and your goal is to double. That's awesome. All right,
Thank you.
Zach, what's up? Let's hear a little bit about you, my good man. Oh, we got no sound from you.
That's better. I'm gonna, I'll do this really quick, and then I'm gonna jump out and jump back in,
Cool.
because we're right in the middle, and I wanna do it on my studio setup. But
Okay.
my goals this year, one of them is to be a little bit more physically fit. The wife and I bought I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not, the Tonal.
Oh
It
yeah,
mounts
like
on.
mounted on the wall.
Yep. So it's pretty cool. They do like a white glove delivery. They install it
Whoa.
on your wall into the 2x4s and everything, and it uses magnetic resistance. So we're pretty excited about that. Definitely gonna get it in shape. I want to get either Close or Lion's Desk up off the ground, and have a lot more presence, a little less organic referrals, and a little bit more of that. And then I guess my last one is my studio. I don't know if you guys have been following me on Facebook or not. I started doing live videos when I was driving, which was a little sketchy, but I set up a studio in my bedroom in the basement of my house, and my lovely wife's helped me set that up and get some more content flowing, get some more followers, maybe throw a little cash at that, and I really like the idea of doing videos so people can see my face, associate me with real estate.
Right. No, I love that. And I think that you're headed down an awesome path. It's going to be awesome to get Lion Desk and your studio going like hot. Do you guys hear that like beeping noise? Okay, never mind. It was my boy getting invited to a bunch of games on Xbox, so it like is pinging through my headset.
Bro, it's the CIA. That's all it is.
Right, probably. Like you guys gotta shut down. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Let's move on. We do have 2 positions for the officers' positions. I nixed the secretary and treasurer. I think that we'll just reopen those when we actually have a purpose or process for that. So this is a heads up for these 2 positions, president and vice president. Most likely it'll just be or there'll be 2 of you that'll slot into that. And we'll just take a little vote at the end, and you can throw your hat in the ring for whatever you want. It'll be like the second or third to last slide we'll re-vote. But I wanted to bring it up early so that you could think about it and think if you wanted to do something for that. Currently, it doesn't really come with that many like keys or potential or pay or anything, of course. So it's kind of like a title, and you get to kind of just run with the title, and hopefully we grow really big so that it is a paid position. And then it doesn't have any really strong extra voting rights. More, or what I feel like it'll kind of morph into is a directional, kind of like a guidance. Let's set up some things and have somebody at the forefront that's like looking out for the company as well as how me and my mom are doing it right now. So anyway, just heads up, we'll put somebody in those 2 slots or one person in each slot, at the end. Okay, so this is the personal ownership, just kind of a business, this is just a business up front slide. The personal ownership side, I really wanted to bring this up about how each of us are going to grow our business. Obviously, what we're looking at right now is we're relatively small comparative to a lot of other companies, but in terms of longevity, we've been around longer than a lot of startup companies. So what I wanted to bring up here is I want each of you to really start pondering about what it is that you've bought into, how you're going to help us grow, and and also what you're going to do to take the reins of the money that you invested into this company and help it grow so that you can make more money. The link that I posted up here is the link to our swag store. And I talk about swag all the time. Zach's really a person that has a bunch of swag. Ben's got some cool polo shirts that I've seen him wear. And my mom wears hers all the time. Obviously, I think I wear mine just about all the time. I think I don't own any clothing that doesn't have a logo on it except this hat or the Fitness Realty logo. But what I wanted to bring up there is just head over to the swag store, pick up some swag. If you're not wearing it already, I would really suggest getting that. And the people here are pretty much already doing that and already have swag. So I kind of say this for future because I'm recording this, so it'll be for future people that want to review our board meetings. But I really want to say that we don't make any extra money from the swag store, so we tried to keep the costs relatively low, but we put it into a perspective or into a way so that you can just order something and it shows up on your door. And I want to make sure that people are doing that more often. I have a quick story really fast. We have window decals and logos that you can get printed from other places. We don't have that on the swag store because they all are different sizes, but last night, my wife parked at a home that we were going to just for a little family party, and somebody that was the neighbor stopped her and said, "Hey, you've parked here for like the last 4 years coming to family stuff, and we saw your logo and we wanted to know what it was." And so Mitzi got to talk a little bit about it. I didn't get to see it. I walked up at the end and I was like, I wanted to see my wife in action. But I didn't get to see that. So anyway, it does bring attention. I can tell you from personal experience, people see it and they'll wonder what it is. They'll Google us, or they'll stop you straight out like, hey, tell me about that. And it'll be a fun conversation for you. Okay, share price structure. The current share price is right around $101.04 as of right now. Sorry, hold on. National Weather Service. Did you guys all get that too? Okay, let's talk about future buy-in, new people and existing family and thoughts before we vote in Dustin Barnes. Zach, you know Dustin. Ben, I'm not sure if you've met him on the base. He retired not too long ago, but Zach, you'd know. But let's talk about future buy-ins and new people and existing and family stuff. My thoughts are, if you get excited, they're going to get excited, and it will bring and draw more capital to allow us to kind of grow quicker. Obviously, there's a delicate balance there because it's hard to part with a pretty sizable sum of money for a company that's relatively new. So we recognize that, but what I want to just voice here is we don't really have any sales pitches and things, but if you have a friend or family member that you're like, hey, maybe I want this person involved, then we can always chat with them and get involved. All right. Any questions or thoughts about that?
One thought. So I believe we discussed this before, but with respect to future buy-ins, they would be considered, and I believe you have it there, as a member, not necessarily as a part of the board of directors or anything like that. Was that what the decision was, or would they be being brought in full force kind of deal?
Yep, full force. I probably mistyped that. Everybody that buys in gets this amount of voting power as their share count. So in Dustin's, for instance, I'm going to bring up the slide that's got the share price breakdown and everything on it here in a little bit. But in Dustin's particular case, he brought 35 grand to us. And I put it in the bank account, but I was waiting for tonight's vote. So we'll all vote. But more than likely it'll pass if me and my mom vote it in, obviously, because the shares are kind of wacky. But the 35 grand bought him about 346 shares, or 342. Don't quote me on that. We'll look at it. And each new person that comes in obviously kind of jumps everybody to get more shares allocated to themselves. So when I show you the slide, you guys have all gotten more shares with the new people that have come in. So hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised about your new position and what that new position is potentially worth. And then when we get to the dividends, I'll kind of break that down as well a little bit further. But yeah, so good question there, though. Everybody that comes on board and buys in has the same amount of voting power equated to their share count. All right, let's move to a vote for Dustin Barnes to come in with 35 grand. I vote yes.
I'm definitely good with it. Just can you offer a little bit of background about Dustin?
Yep, Dustin's a buddy of mine from the base. He just retired or something, and he works at ATK. Is a contractor in QA, and just a good dude. Some people didn't like him at the base, but he brought us a big check, and I'm like, let's do it.
I totally vote him in.
Okay, my mom's in, Brandon's in, Zach's in. Ben's probably getting some Italian dish. I don't know where he's going to dinner. But that's definitely enough to vote him in, so we'll just move to bring him on board. Sorry, the jive line's going off. Okay, let's move on. Oh, any questions before we get to like a breakdown? I think I have it 3 or 4 or 5 slides from now, maybe. And I apologize if we go longer. I tried to make it as short as possible, but if you guys have to go at any time, that's fine. I'll have it recorded and a link for you at the end. Okay, I wanted to kind of talk about how people get their money out because I had a conversation with my brother over Christmas, and he brought up a bunch of things, and I don't really care about what my brother said on a lot of things, but I wanted to kind of bring up what people do if they want to get some of their money back out. I know most of you have said you're in it for the long haul and you're in it to win it, but I wanted to make sure that on the forethought of your minds that you knew what you could do to get your money if you needed it for whatever reason. Currently, the only way to get your money out is to sell your shares back to the company. So if we have the cash and we vote on it, we can determine a negotiated price and then reissue you some of your cash. That does stop your portion of shares from gathering any extra shares from new buyers or new owners. And so I want to make sure that I've conveyed that multiple times, that if you do start to sell, that relinquishes your ability for extra shares in that specific purchasing opportunity that you had. Easier breakdown is the money you initially brought to us. If you start to sell shares out of that section stops earning extra shares. Contrary to that, though, if you decided to bring us more money and buy additional shares, that bumps everybody's share price or share count up. And you could decide, well, I have 2 positions. I can sell out of one or the other. You don't have to do both. You can tell me what you want to do. And so there's opportunity to get reissued some shares if you want to buy in again. And I'll show you that as well, where me and my mom have bought in again so that we could get the next asset. Any questions about that? Sweet. Okay, dividend payout. Eventually I'm going to reach out to you guys to get all this information. Right now I don't need it because we're going to cut dividends on January 1. So it'll only be like way late in the year when I need a 1099 or a W-9 form. So right now I'll just get some other information if I don't have it. Like Brandon, I think I need your address so I can send you a dividend check. And like I said, that'll start January 1. And it'll come from a third-party platform. Zach and Ben, you guys have gotten checks from us before in commission, so you already know how it works. Zach's like, I never made any money. Just kidding.
I've never gotten a check. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Fraud. Just kidding. But yeah, okay. So I'll need some info later. I just wanted to make sure everybody was thinking about it. All right, here is the current share count before adding Dustin to the back end. And like I said, I'll bring up the share count sheet so you can see what that looks like. But right now you can see my mom has 5882, so on and so forth. I'm not going to read over them because you guys can read them. I did want to bring up though my mom and myself bought in again and bought 700 more shares. So that we could buy the next the asset that we purchased, and I'll show you that on the next slide. But you guys can all see whatever you brought in or bought at the first initial onset has now tripled, or I can't remember what you guys brought in on the first one off the top of my head, but you guys all know what you did. So if it looks good in share count, I hope it looks awesome to you, or you're pleasantly surprised. I have one more thought on this slide before we move on. Something that'll happen as we progressively move forward with the company and move to becoming bigger. Eventually, this overall percentage right here, 43%, will move closer and closer to 33%, and then it starts to like get longer and starts repeating. But you guys can see your percentages are all getting bigger than what you initially purchased in at. And that's just slicing off parts of the company. So that's just the nature of the numbers.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, who's Mithril Holdings? That's like a medieval.
That's Brandon.
That's me.
Okay. I was like, who's
No, yeah, I bought in with my holding company.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. All right, so proposed dividends. After this meeting, well, currently there's about 107,000 in the account, so this isn't entirely accurate. It's not spot on, is what I mean. I'm proposing a 1%. I don't think we should go much more than that. If we did a 0.5%, it's not quite enough to carry the costs of what we had to do, or what I had to do in my personal life to make it worthwhile. So it's kind of a delicate balancing act. I think 1% should set us up pretty good. My vote is that we try 1% for a little while and see what happens. And if it's great, awesome. If it goes bad, we'll tweak it. So my vote is 1%. Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
Works for me.
Okay. And then technically this is going to be paid out, like I said, on the first of the month, every month. So when we get the rent income, it almost is like the rent income comes in, we pay out 1%. There's a payment that goes out. So it's always going to be going up in cash value in the operating account, but it will... it'll make it so that there's a small earnings in there. So eventually the company can just flat out buy another piece of property without us having to inject as much cash as we've had to. But keep in mind, that's the name of the game. And what I'm trying to get, or what I'm trying to make sure everybody understands is, I hope you guys get excited enough that you're like willing to take a 50 grand ride, you know, or even more like my mom and I have. Okay, so 1% is good. We'll try that for a little while. All right, this came up during Christmas, and it's happened before, and it's something that people have brought up before. When they look at the numbers, they feel like there's a lot of potential for not that much money that you guys have brought in as an early adopter. And I said to everyone that's asked me that, I always tell them that we're generous because I want you guys to feel like the way we're going to rise everybody up is this entire tide is rising. And so I feel like when people ask us that and why we're so generous, I want to say we're just going to reward everyone. And mainly it was my brother that really brought it on pretty hard. He was like, well, if I buy in a certain percentage, I want a certain percentage of the company. And I said, well, that's not how it works. You have to come and ride with us. And if the company is successful and we're all succeeding, we all will make money. If we're not succeeding, then we have to really come together and figure out a new plan to work it and make it better. It's not me and my mom making a position where we get wealthy and you guys don't go anywhere. I want to make it so that we all make money in a ratio of our allotted risk and money that we've put forth in the company. So anyway, the generous part, you guys are going to make new shares and receive new shares from this time till whenever, unless you sell off, right? Like I already mentioned, but I want you to feel like it's a gift. I want you to feel like it's a piece that we're giving to you. We've sliced off from what we've owned, me and my mom, at 100%. We're always going to get a smaller and smaller share. So I want you to realize that we're giving that away to you guys so you'll come for a ride with us and have fun. All right. Any questions about the generosity? Other than me virtue signaling. Okay, let's move on.
I will say that I appreciate it and I'm very thankful.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about 3711 Lydia Avenue. This is the new property. Well, sorry, not new. Not brand new. New to us. It's a 1999 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage on like a quarter of an acre or something like that. We picked it up for $199. We paid cash for it. We took about $70,000 of company operating account funds, and then me and my mom both put in about $70,000 as well. And that doesn't make the math right. It's like 68 a piece, something like that, with closing costs. So we did pick up this property. It is going to be guaranteed rent at $16.95. Brandon, you have experience with this and how Bridge guarantees rent and that for the first year and things. So they're guaranteeing $16.95. I think it'll probably be right around $1,500 after that, but at least the first year they'll be catching it up. And then hopefully after that first year, rents have caught up to where they're predicting. Anyway, we already have pictures, but this is a breakdown. They're beginning to market it. I think 3 or 4 days ago is when we got the pictures, so we should have a tenant. Excuse me. We should have a tenant in there probably in a week or two. I did email them, the agent that's managing it for us, but they didn't respond back, so they're still out of the office. I think till tomorrow or Wednesday.
You need to fire them. Garbage.
Right? No breaks. No breaks. Okay, but this is a breakdown from biggerpockets.com. I use their rental calculator, so I put $16.95 for the monthly income. $656 is really high for the expenses. Brandon and Ben, you guys have experienced breaking down those numbers, but we have CapEx in there, and I kept it at 7 or 8%, but we probably won't have any of that for a while because everything is brand new. Furnace is new, AC is new, roof is new. Pieces of the back deck are new. Most of the floor is new, right? So it's pretty much a full top to bottom remodel. So I don't anticipate having very many CapEx issues, but we did buffer that in, and then I buffered in a lot of vacancy, but since it does look really nice, most likely we'll have vacancies that are really low. This is just a screenshot of if we stay all cash of where I think we will be. This next slide is if we get a $100,000 loan on it. I think it's $100,000. To bring back the $100,000 in cash back to the operating account, which would, like I said, bump us back up to about $200. Then we can decide what we want to do from there. I don't anticipate going down much lower than about 50 or 60 grand in operating costs or operating expense. Sorry, in operating cash. I apologize. That way we don't ever run into issues where we can't afford to pay for marketing or whatever we do in the sales side. We have really low overhead costs anyways, but I want to just make sure you guys are well aware of that as we move forward. And then this screenshot is if we do 150 grand in a mortgage payment. So that would bring back 150 grand in cash. Currently, it is kind of difficult to get financing for a business. We are working on our credit and viability as a company to get financing as a corporation instead of personally leveraging our own assets or personal liability. So this is just some snapshots so I could let you guys know what it looks like if we went ahead and got some cash back, which we may or may not do. There are some other avenues that we're looking at other than just traditional mortgage for a corporation. So that'll come probably on the next board meeting. Any questions about that? That was kind of like a tutorial about what it would look like if we got some cash back.
Sounds good. Have you talked and or looked into the ATPI mortgage lending division, whether or not they have any specific networking capabilities for that?
I haven't really tapped into that yet, only because the last time I asked them about corporate financing, they pretty much said no.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'll probably reach out once again. There's one avenue we're kind of really looking at, and it would be to get an all-in-one loan with the company's financing backing that and that asset. And me and my mom have all-in-one loans, and they're just really powerful. And so we may look into that further, or I mean, I'm going to look into it further. Right now, we don't have anything to go on. But the all-in-one loan would give us avenues to pretty much like go full bore into getting another piece of property like the next day. Okay, swag and a donation. I wanted to talk about a swag proposal. Since I did mention that we do have a swag store, and I want you guys to get some swag from there so that you can have more conversations about what we're doing and also create some excitement around the people that you know, because they're definitely going to ask you questions. I did want to do a swag proposal for everyone that is a owner or a board member or whatever you want to call it, somebody who's brought us money in a share account. If we did like a $50 gift certificate from the company funds for each person, so that they could go buy a shirt or a jacket or whatever. And in my opinion, that kind of spurs the go to the swag store and spend this free money and hopefully pick up additional items. What do you guys think?
I'm definitely good with that. I was going to get some anyway, either way, so.
Nice. I like $50. I was thinking about $100, but I think 100's too much.
I think there are a lot of things you can get for $50, so should be fine.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Agreed.
Well, let's go with 50. I'll put that together in a couple days, and I'll send out like an email with everybody's certificate. And then what's nice is I have a way to track all the certificates so that if other people don't use theirs, it'll just come back to the company operating account, or I'll send it out as another gifts or whatever we do. Okay, and then I wanted to talk about a donation proposal. I'm all about trying to not give away money all at the same time, but I do want to do something that's like, I don't know what you call it, like a long word for giving away money to help somebody else out, that like philanthropist or something.
How about give back to the community?
Nice. Okay.
Something like that.
Let's go with that. I want to do something like that. I know my mom has a kind of an affinity towards diabetes and type 1 diabetes. So I want to try to do some type of donation. I don't care if it's to type 1 diabetes or whatever the other foundation's called, or something that you guys all come up with. But my idea is if we're doing those donations in a way that is also getting us some FaceTime with other people that we would not have normally gotten, that's what I kind of want to do. Not that I'm like, we always have to make money off of money we give away. I want just some, here's great money, but also get us conversations that we've never had before. One of those thoughts, though, is there will be, and this one's kind of self-serving, but there are a lot of good golf tournaments that come up throughout the year, and other avenues that are like a Make-A-Wish Foundation car show, or something where we could make a difference, but also get some people that have never seen us before to see what we're all about. And so just keep that on your horizon. If I come up with something and I see something that looks interesting, like there's a Zach already knows, and your dad already sees there's car shows out there that are for Make-A-Wish, and I would love to do like, here's a check. Like maybe it's only $1,000, but maybe that would be something that would be cool and different and intriguing and make us all feel like we're just doing something nice.
So, I mean, when we did that at the car show, we handed out vacation vouchers. I think maybe it'd be cool to hand out another vacation voucher, like a Disneyland voucher, and then we just give them, cash on top of it to help cover taxes and anything else like that, expenses and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would love to do something like Disney, but that might be out of the budget. I don't know. We'll have to look.
I might actually be able to help out with that. So I worked for Disney for 7 years. My mom retired from Disney after 18.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I know for a fact that she has certain privileges. Whether or not those are transferable is what I'll have to look into. Because I know she gets passes, but it might be she has to be with you passes kind of deal.
Gotcha.
So I'll definitely look into that. And if not, she might have some avenues and or connections that I can actually kind of backdoor us into. Oh, hey, this is, I don't know. We'll see. I'll look into it. I'll see if there's anything I can come up with.
That is awesome. I would have never known that. So good bringing it up. That is so cool.
Yeah, Zach's at Disney, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, keep us posted. I would love to do something like that. I want to make sure that we're making a difference out there, and I believe that where our company is going to be positioning in, we can really just change some people's lives. Okay, let's see. So we got the swag, donations. Yep. All right, let's vote some people in. Who wants to be the president? It cannot be me or my mom.
I definitely want to throw my hat in. I'm good with either. I even actually had an additional option of throwing in director of operations, depending on what each position would be responsible for. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only guys that are out of Utah and not there with you guys. So I want to participate and contribute as much as I can. So I'm definitely good with either position.
Okay.
And or offering for a third as well.
Gotcha. I love that. Zach, do you have a preference?
Do I have a preference on
which one you want?
Sorry.
Ben's
which
muted.
one what?
Which position you want? Ben is muted, so it's really just you or Brandon.
I don't care. He's geographically located away from us, so it's you.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that means.
If he wants to be president, I'm fine taking vice. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, cool. All in favor of nominating Brandon for the president? Say aye.
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 All in favor of nominating Zach Everett as vice president?
Aye.
Can I vote for myself?
Aye.
Is that...
Yes.
I would say yes. I mean,
yeah.
Let's say 20 years from now we replay this video, we'll be like, who nominated themselves and voted for themselves? Just kidding. Just teasing. Okay, cool. Well, that's settled. I'll load you guys into the spreadsheet here in a second.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's talk about the future really quick. Future growth and the plans. We did close the first turnkey deal, so that one's done. We're looking for 2 more next year. That'll either be out of doing the mortgage or an all-in-one on the Lydia Avenue, or it'll be more cash pumped into the company. A couple things about the cash in the company. This year we profited, but it wasn't as strong as we normally have because I was paying the taxes for the company and didn't realize it. And now the company and my personal finances are completely separate, thank goodness. But it was about 40 grand in back taxes, and so it wasn't as profitable as normal. But so we will probably do about 40 to 100 grand in just pure profit as the company. So that'll put us pretty close to doing a turnkey deal with the cash that's already in there, just kind of naturally. I would, in my opinion, I would always love to do more. So if you guys are looking to just try to pump in some extra cash so that you can ensure that you own additional shares and are in front of other people, that would be something that you guys can all take your own risk assessment of your own finances and see where you're looking, and then just let us know what you want to do. But I do have a goal to do 2 more. On the horizon for that, I have a national lender that is teaching a really good velocity of money course that I sat through for 2 weeks, and him and I got chatting, and he may come in and buy into the company. I don't really know how much he would want to bring in. I think the cap right now, just the way the shares are broken down, is probably right around 600 grand. So he couldn't really do more than about 600,000. But even if he did 100,000 or something, then we would be buying another asset right after that. Okay. Any comments about future growth other than the sales side is booming like crazy and we have a lot of agents?
Since again, I'm not there with you all to be more on the forefront of that. Can I get an update actually with how that's all going?
Yeah, for sure. This year, 2021, we closed almost 30 million in gross, whatever you want to call it, GCI. I have no idea all these acronyms and stuff. We closed 30 million in deals.
Excellent.
We paid out a little over 600 grand in commission to various people on the staff. We have 33 agents. We just barely got another one licensed. There's probably about 40 people maybe in school to get licensed. There are days that I feel like I'm going to start recruiting some more just for fun, and then there's days that I say no. So it's an ebb and flow of my anticipation of wanting to teach more. I feel like we're kind of transitioning to asset acquisition, and the sales side will one day be very small comparative to the asset acquisition side. And so I may just teach until I don't want to teach anymore, or the asset side just grows really fast. So I think we only need about 10 rental properties, and it will be the same amount of income as the sales side for the business, not for my personal finances, but for the business. And so if that's 2 years from now, it might be 2 years from now. So I don't know that. But it could rapidly change the outlook of what the sales side does.
Excellent. And actually, so on the turnkeys, what is are we currently have property management for the property?
Yep. So it's Scudo out there. I think yours is under a different company. But Scudo has both me and my mom's personal one that we bought, and then the company one. And they're pretty decent. They're at 8% because Bridge is like making them do that. They do have a bunch of fees on top of that, like you've seen. I think they operate just the same as the one that you've got. So it's nice on gross that it's just 8%, but then it's like they hit you with $100 here, $100 there. Before you know it, it's 12 or 14%. What I'm looking at in total cost to or just ROI is that our tax depreciation is going to save us from the sales side, because the sales side is so cash heavy. We have like zero protection from the sales side. So even if we're only doing, let's say we only make 6% on rents, it's going to save us on, 15 or 20% in corporate taxes on the back end for the sales side, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good comment. Something that I want to bring up right here in the growth section is the company side, the sales side has a bunch of like new booths and stuff we're going to do this year for FitCon and probably the state fair because they loved us, and so we now have a reoccurring open invitation to go to the state fair. I'm very open to doing other booths and venues like across state lines and things like that. So Brandon, if there's something that you're like, man, we should do something to raise capital, I'm more than welcome to, or more than happy to do something like that. My mom and I are going out to a brokers convention in April in Phoenix that will be a 2-day conference or a 3-day conference, something like that. And so I'm hoping to make some connections out there and really start kind of growing that side. Additionally, on the sales side, there is one of our agents, sorry, not one, we have 2 agents that I'm always coaching about becoming brokers. One of them is in this room. And then the other one is somebody who I think could potentially grow a certain area for our company. I don't know when that will happen, but I'm always pushing the pressure on that. So, and then likewise, Brandon, for you, if you ever want to grow the sales side, you can do that through the company and accessing all the logos and everything, as long as when you start, you have a broker that signs in with us and becomes a purchasing partner, and then they can use the logo, and you guys could run a brokerage firm from where you're at.
I was gonna bring up that 2 things actually on that one. So I have made a good friend of another realtor out here who I also met up with ADPI. I don't think he's no longer with ADPI, but he's still a really good dude. He's helped me get my 2 properties out here so far.
Sweet.
I have discussed this with him before because as of right now, he's with Keller Williams, and I was, telling him about Fitness Realty and the fact that I was looking to start or in franchise and or start a brokerage out here.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, 4 or 5 months ago, he was kind of interested, but kind of looking into other venues.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more recently, he actually is looking to break off on his own.
Nice.
So I can definitely hit him up again for discussing that. Obviously, I have to talk to him first to see if he's interested. We can bring him in, kind of discuss his qualifications, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it would come down to a vote and or interview
right.
For him. But I would 100% be good with that. And not to mention, I would also be interested in going to that brokerage. The symposium and or over in Arizona.
Gotcha. I'll send you some info, and I don't know if it's sold out yet. So if it's not sold out, actually, the other side is I don't know if you can sign up without a NERDS number, which is a National Real Estate Database number. If you heard and got a license, you might be able to sign up for that.
No worries.
Yeah, but don't quote me on that. I'll send you the info because I'm not really sure. So don't discount it because I just don't know.
No worries.
Okay, I like where we're going with that. I think that we have tons of growth potential, and like I said, the asset side I think is going to take over. Something that and Ben's probably in the middle of dinner, but he and I have talked about like purchasing other types of assets. He has a pilot license and flies and stuff, and so there's potential to like buy a quarter share of a plane, slap our logo all over it, and turn it out of like instructor, private pilot or people learning or whatever they do. Ben showed it to me. I just said, hey, if the numbers work, we'll pull the trigger on it. Plus, I would love to put the logo on a plane. So we're open to other avenues, obviously. And then we're open to other avenues in location as well. So like if you come across a sweet cush deal that you think we can nab up, then I'm all for it. Okay, any comments about that? or any last questions? Sweet. Okay, before we get to closing questions and comments, let me get to this price structure. Oh, let me first fill these in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. Okay, I'm going to pull up the shares and the share count. Hopefully you guys can see it. I think I have it blown up to 200% or something. It should be pretty good. So I wanted to kind of briefly recap. My mom and I bought in 68,000 or whatever it was, right here. And then we did buy an asset at 200 grand. I think it was 199.9, so I just rounded up. Obviously this share price sheet is pretty accurate, but not like, I don't put in the cents because it's just minuscule. One day we probably will, but I just rounded up for stuff. So this difference right here was what was in the account at that time, and so it was just a little bit above where we were at. And this is where I was talking about we were profitable, but not that profitable. And this isn't an actual representation of what the profit was in there. It's a difference of some other numbers that are on the slideshow or on the bank account. And then you can see this cash is what we were at after I sent off 200 grand of it to pay for the asset. So you can see this share price here after that was done. And then this is going to give us a little bit of a snapshot of the share count. So you can see when my mom and I purchased in with our additional money again, it bumped everybody and gave everybody new shares. So we're going to just go sideways. You can see this is the thing I was talking about. We started at 50% and it just keeps on continuing to get cut down. And that's where I'm okay with it. My brother was not okay with it because he was like, you're giving away things. And I'm like, I don't care. We're going to make it big. So it's going to be fun. You know, and if it doesn't get huge, then if it's just medium size and we're a $100 million company, that's fine too. So you can kind of see though, when my mom and I bought in again, it loaded 700 new shares to each of us. Cause that was what we purchased in at that like $97 range. Sorry, I'm like pointing on my screen. I apologize. You can see $97 over here. I was pointing on my other screen. Don't judge me. So when we bought in again, yeah, exactly. Zach, you know what's happening. It added 700 new shares, and then you can see that the percentage dropped down. Ashley's not here, but she gave us about $1,000 when we first started. So she's really loving life because every time that somebody new buys in, she gets 10 more shares. So, and this is where, when I've showed this to people, they're like, you're just giving away too much to the new or the people that have been on board for a long time. And I was like, I don't care about that because they took a ride with us, right? When you guys first got started with us, you had to give up your money and you don't know much about us. I mean, you do, but it's not like you're guaranteed to make anything out in the back end. So I want to reward that. So you can see her percentage is kind of changing a little bit and tweaking. Zach, you started with 50. You're at 120 as of when me and my mom bought in. I'll kind of recuperate with Dustin's buy-in, of course. So you can see your percentage is going up, which is just, that's the name of the game on how the numbers are working. My mom's and mine are just kind of going down, and you'll see where it chunked out and went to another section as well. Ben, you started with 25. Oh, he's at dinner. It's fine. Skip. Brandon, here's yours. You started with 75, and you'll see these numbers are kind of different because they're capped out at what the person brought in that was the new person. So if they only bought 20, you can see on this one you got 20. On this one it was like 75 or whatever that is. That capped you off at what you initially brought in. So same thing with like Ben's or Zach's. You're capped off at what you initially brought in. So when my mom and I did 700, you were capped at 50 or 75 or 25 or whatever. This one's one of my favorites. Karen is on our staff. She just barely got licensed. She's agent number 33. She only bought one share, so you can see she's quadrupled her money in terms of, or quadrupled her share count in terms of shares, but literally just only did $100, right? So in my opinion, we're rewarding her, but not that much. I mean, she's 4x'd how many shares she's got, but in terms of money, it's just not that impressive comparative to what you guys have done. Here's my buddy 09. Like I said, he came in with 20, so he's at 40 and 60 beyond that. Here's where my mom and I bought in one more time with 700. So you can see this chunked out 5.15% of the company as a rebuy, which moved it away from everybody. So you either gained a little bit, or in my case and my mom's case, in our initial, we lost 5.5% or whatever it was, because it moved over to this second buy. And comparatively to what you guys could do, if you guys want to come in another round, you could come up with whatever you wanted to bring. Let's say it's 40 or 50 grand or whatever. You would have another purchasing in section of shares, and that would load your first section as well.
I did want to ask about that actually.
Yeah.
Again, I'm pretty sure we mentioned it. I just don't know if we've written any of this down yet.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a minimum buy-in for like a rebuy?
Yep. We don't have it written down anywhere. The minimum is whatever we dictate we want to bring in. So in my opinion, if somebody brought us $5,000, I would say no. And so then if I say no, my mom's probably going to say no. And that's the majority currently. In the future, the way the numbers work, we will eventually sell enough where the numbers are about 33% me, 33% my mom, and 33% everyone else, kind of divvied out across that board. Just when you run the numbers all the way to the ground, that's just kind of what happens eventually. But in that position, we could dictate what we want to have people bring in. So in my opinion, $5,000 probably not worth it. If they're bringing $50,000, that's probably going to get us another asset. So that's probably something we should look at. When we get bigger, then we can really start dictating. Maybe we would have the buy-in open for 3 months and have people do like $2,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, and we could have a multitude of people that instead of having each person, it would be a quarter's worth of people. And that's something that I've thought about in the future. Like when we've got 10 million in assets, I mean, it's hard to come to somebody and say, hey, where's your $200,000 laying around? Otherwise we're not going to take you. Eventually we have to tweak that process. But right now we can kind of really dictate and tell people that we don't need their small amounts currently. And that's something that you guys can help try to dictate as well. So if you're open to something where it's a half year's worth of people, maybe we'll do that. If it's a quarter, maybe we'll do that. I actually think in the future, probably 10 or 15 years from now, it'll be a full year's worth and we'll have it open, and whoever brings money in, it just kind of pours in. They get the share price that's on the docket at January 1. They just buy in, right? And eventually we close it out at the end of December and say, all right, there was 1 million shares sold at $2 million a piece, or $2 million to bring into the capital fund. But then it doesn't change each person on the slide at each person. It would just be, here's 10,000 people that came in and they're all on the same tier, if that
Sounds
makes
good.
sense.
I think so. So I'll be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
Asking for me personally, going along with my goal for the year, I would rather than taking it on all myself, I'd rather take my 20 to 25 that I plan to save up,
Mm-hmm.
rebuy in. Do we agree that would be a worthwhile buy-in, say by the end of the year? Because at my level, that would have been good for me because I'm right around the 100 to 115 purchase price for a rental.
Mm-hmm.
But if maybe by the end of the year and someone else wants to bring something in, that can maybe get us up to the 50, where we're looking at that between 2 to 250 range for a new property.
Yeah. I would say for anybody here, it's probably different. You know, like if you wanted to bring money, we'll probably make it happen. You know,
Okay.
I have certain criteria like in my mind, but that's for people outside. You know,
Fair
like
enough.
for us here, that's different. So like for me and my mom, we'll pull the trigger on something different. For you guys, it's something different. I have certain friends and stuff. If they came to me and said, I got $2,000 and I want to buy in, I'd probably make that happen. And that's kind of where we all vote, but it's all kind of like if we want to make it happen here as a group, we can make whatever happen because we're all in it together.
Good deal.
So yes, I would say for you, whatever you want to do is fine.
Copy.
Yeah. For Zach, it's got to be $100,000. He's a baller. $100,000.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Okay. So I wanted to run through Dustin's buy-in really quick. He did 346 shares. You can see that added to my mom's position that she rebought in. Same thing with mine. So that's where this percentage, it's all taking from that main starting position. So it's kind of like filtering that down to everybody. And eventually, like I said, it'll be about 33, and then divvied out 33 across the board. So my buddy 09 got 20 more shares. Karen's just killing it with her 4. Brandon, you got additional 75, right? Because you're capped out at 75. And this is the interesting thing. I want you guys to just see where you're at right now. So keep in mind 245. Zach, you're at 170. And then take this new share price, 86.98, and just times that out for your shares. And that's where you're at in kind of a company valuation currently. It should be about like three times what you bought in with, or 2.7, or I don't know, something like that. I wasn't running all the numbers. You got 0. Okay. Anyway, so I wanted you guys to see that though, so that you could say, well, at XYZ share count, I'm doing good. You know, where what money you brought in, you'll be doing good. All right. That's it on this spreadsheet. Does anybody have any questions before we leave this spreadsheet? All right. Sweet. Loving it. Okay. Well, does anybody have any last reattacks before we kind of close up? Mom, do you have any last reattacks? Sorry, that was my burp.
Not that I can think of. I thought you did a great job. I like what you put here on commit to your goals and excel in your life. I think if you're doing that, you're going to just move forward quicker than, I mean, you've got things in front of you with the goals written, and just keep pushing.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. Zach, did you have something?
I just love being a part of this experience. I want to share a little something with you guys. I was actually upstairs mid pizza in mouth when my phone set the reminder, and I threw my pizza and grabbed my headset and ran down here, and that's how excited I was.
Nice.
I love the positive vibes, and I'm absolutely grateful that I can be a part of something with you guys. And with the swag thing, TJ beats it into the ground. That's why I do it. Whenever I do a live video or anything, I'm wearing a shirt, and they make great gifts. People love free stuff. Whether you're licensed or not, people love free stuff, and handing out your brand to other people it's just paying it forward, kind of, and getting advertising the word out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, thank you. Real quick about the swag store before we close. If you have something that you're like, man, I would kill to have this item, whatever it is. They have 200,000 items. I just have to find whatever it is and tell them we want that with our logo, and we can do colors, we can do a bunch of stuff. So the sky's the kind of the limit. maybe we have no limit. That's what I'm saying. We have no limit there. You can decide, like, I want XYZ. If they have it in their inventory, we can put our logo on it and we can start buying it. Something that's kind of not great about the swag store is it's kind of expensive for regular everyday items. And that's just because we're kind of ordering them one-off each time instead of doing like 1,000 shirt print, which would bring the cost way down. However, we have gone away from that model because it's hard for me or my mom to coordinate the buy and then get like the items to everybody, because it just makes it a really pain in the neck thing to do. Plus, like, shipping then becomes the cost that we tried to save, you know, or the time involved trying to get the item. So the last plug there is, if you have something that you want to get on there, we can definitely get it. We can definitely do different colors. We can do logo schemes. We can do just a ton of stuff. So please don't feel like you're boxed in on the swag store. If you see something, we can make it happen. We can design it. They're graciously open to doing that for us, since I kind of strong-armed them to even giving us an account. So it just happened that way. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so that's it on that, though. I really want to say that I do love each and every one of you, and I want to say that I'm appreciative of you being here. And this company means a lot to me. It means a lot to my mom. And then I hope that you start to feel like you own a piece of it, which you do. And I want you to feel like you can have a direction and a say. And I want you to take the time to say, how am I going to do this in my personal life to make it something that I'm actually proud of and actually want to bring to other people. And so I leave that door open for each of you to, as an invitation, to really kind of ponder that and bring it into your own life about solidifying it and just trying to progress and push forward. All right. Last thing real quick is commit to your goals, like my mom said. Okay. Brandon, last reattack.
Yeah, so I did want to make a suggestion and or throw an idea out. I know it doesn't mean as much to everybody else, but maybe our mid-year board meeting, we could try to make that in person. I could fly out to, one, meet everybody finally.
That'd be cool.
Two, we could possibly, even if everybody's good with it, line it up with an event, either a donation event and or just some other kind of event, because one thing that I did love while out in Utah were the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue up
cool.
at Snow Basin.
Oh, nice.
Really great event. It's outdoor, obviously tons of beer. They got barbecue at the lodge, and there's live music on the lawn and stuff like that. So maybe we could try to even work something out where we could throw up a tent, have some swag out there.
That'd be cool.
Kind of get the name out. But you know, I'd like to get out there to meet everybody. Two, I'd like to get more direction from you, TJ. Maybe
Sure.
even make it like a couple day trip so I could get some training.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that. Yeah, if you look it up and see a good date that makes sense and we put it on the calendar, I'm all for it. I'm all about shooting for the moon, you know, like let's do it up. And plus the fun thing is everywhere we go, everybody wants to talk to us.
Sounds good.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to say thanks, and that's it. Love you guys.
All right. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, TJ.
Yep. We'll see
See
you.
ya.
Happy
See you,
holidays.
everybody.
All right.
Have a
Bye,
great night.
everybody. Ben, good luck
ya.
on your date. Bye.
Bye.